And just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them. You thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show. I am your host, Justin, with Meelz. I'm currently outside. It's a beautiful day in California. I decided to do this episode on location on my secret nook.
Okay, sure. Let's call it that. Live on location. I'm also in a different location than I would normally be. I'm in, actually, this is a very familiar location. I'm in the studio where we used to record the A Show, so... very happy.
It's been like a crazy up and down week for both of us.
Yeah, it's been a lot, but you know what? Still glad we get to bring the art. Still glad. Why am I saying the art? This is not the Bodega Boys podcast.
This is the art, though.
But I just, their brand, our brand. Either way, the A Show's back. Episode 86. We're here. 14 more episodes till 100, man.
We have not talked about.
That's okay. That's okay. We have 14 more weeks. What are we stressing about? 14 more weeks. We just make something up on the fly, and it'll be incredible.
Yeah, that's how we did it for 50, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how we did for 50. That's how we did for 52. That's how we do it for everything moving forward. But we want to thank you guys for continuing to support RNC Radio this entire week, especially last week during the RNC Decade Week. We got a lot of support. We got a lot of comments. We got a lot of, opinions and various things from the last week. So we do appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you continue to subscribe and share this podcast, as well as the call up, as well as spot callers, as well as everything on the RNC Radio Network. And yeah, stay subscribed. We got a lot more cool things coming up within the next year or so. So make sure you stay tuned, stay subscribed, and just stay ready for anything that could happen.
Yes, the engagement and the people that were just really excited about everything that we did last week was just really exciting. And I got to say, like, just within the past year, just building this brand, like, I'm very, very proud and happy with everybody that's a part of this. This started from a wrestling show. It started from this show.
Yeah,
it's just grown,
It's just grown. But while, yes, I'm sure you guys did not come to hear us gloat about our own podcasting network. You came for us to talk to Graps. And this week, not a lot of things happen. I'll say not a lot of things. We're in what you call the SummerSlump.
We're in the SummerSlump. I said this before we went live. Meelz is like, I'm not naming the episode SummerSlump. But realistically, like, honestly, that's how I feel about wrestling right now. It's just a big slump period before we get to like the big things in the fall.
But it's, what sucks? There's like a lot of major slump periods. And really the only months that are hot in professional wrestling kind of seems like January, February, March, April, July. And that's probably where it ends, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. Like we're coming into, and I asked you this last week. I was like, what the fuck does SummerSlam look like right now? Like watching these shows, I have no clue what the SummerSlam card would even look like right now. What would even excite me?
Well, I can't tell you what the SummerSlam card looks like, but we can sure tell you what the hell happened last Friday on WWE Super Showdown, live from Saudi Arabia. The debacle in the Middle East. I don't know what to say.
The Jeddah. I don't know what to say either.
The jobbers in the Jeddah, something like that. I don't know. It's something crazy because
they're ruined in the sand dunes.
We'll figure it out. We're two smart gentlemen, but either way, Super Showdown. What a card!
What a card! I heard it was terrible. I only watched one match, which
it wasn't terrible. It was just not that great.
It's a house show, and I watched one match. I watched that one match 4 times because it's only 8 minutes.
It's a great match. All right, so we gotta first of all. All right, so maybe run through the rest of the card real quick. I'll run
What
through. What
happened? Like nothing really happened.
No, I mean this is standard. The only thing, so the only thing storyline initiated that kind of happened was that Shane McMahon defeated Roman Reigns, which was against our predictions. It's completely something different that happened.
Shane McMahon is undefeated in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, really though, like really, our hometown advantage almost at this point. We had Seth Rollins defeat Baron Corbin, and then they announced that they're going to have a rematch. Brock Lesnar attempted to cash in, failed to do so. Actually got beat the hell out of by Seth Rollins. Finn Balor had a great match with Andrade. If there's any match on this card that you would probably watch, it's definitely Finn Balor versus Andrade. It was a really, really back and forth match between the Demon and Andrade. Also, our thoughts to Andrade and what he's going through with his family right now. His mother passed away a few days ago. Our thoughts and prayers to Andrade and his family.
Yeah, terrible news. It happened, I guess, right when they touched back down in the United States. That as he found out that his mother passed away, just a terrible thing that happened. Andrade is such a great talent, and just no words could express how terrible that has to feel. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
Lars Sullivan was defeated by Lucha House Party via disqualification. No one saw that coming.
Whipping too much ass.
Whipping too much ass. Randy Orton defeated Triple H in by far the longest match on the card by an insane amount. This is
15 minutes or something.
Yeah, this is a 25-minute match. I heard it was good, but it's like the match they've always wanted to have is what I've got the gist of it from it. I didn't have time to watch it because I think I was recording the Lookout during this. But a lot of people are saying this is the match that they have always wanted to have and probably one of the best matches that they've ever had together. So that was interesting. And then they kind of brought the crowd back down with Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman wins. Kofi Kingston defeats Dolph Ziggler, who didn't see that coming. The 50-man Battle Royal, which was
I wouldn't have watched that. I wouldn't watch that at all.
No, I mean, I originally thought it was going to be the Royal Rumble again. No, it was a 50-person Battle Royal. All 50 men in the ring at the same time. So it ended pretty quickly, actually. It probably ended within like 7 or 8 minutes. Mansoor. I don't know if you know who Mansoor is. He's a developmental talent from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they play him up. They play him up on a lot of like India-focused WWE stuff. He's currently in NXT. I believe he had an NXT match 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he won the match. Yeah,
I mean, so he won this entire battle royal featuring very capable talent. I mean, all the peeps were in there. There was the Rusevs, the Nakamura's, the Luke Gallows, the Carl Andersons, the Jinder Mahals, the Oney Lorcans, the Cedric Alexanders, Chad Gables, the Miz was in there, Titus O'Neil. Mansoor won.
Everybody getting the bag.
Actually, it was a 51-man battle royal. My God! All right, they added him last minute, of course. But we have to talk about the main event. It is the most hyped main event that we've ever got for a Saudi Arabia show. It was a dream match by some stretch of the imagination. It was The Undertaker versus Goldberg. You say you've watched this match 4 times. I've watched it 3. It's actually a great match to go back and look.
Listen, this is the best, worst match I've ever seen in my life. It's just looking at the under. And the thing is, like, I know I said that I wanted to like rewatch it. We have to rewatch this on the show one day for sure.
Yeah,
but I think that like look at the Undertaker's face through the whole 8 minutes entirety of this match. He is literally not only mad like that he has to do this, but increasingly more mad every time Goldberg fucks up.
So, everyone obviously shitted on this match, from fans to just Matt Riddle to, everybody under the sun is just like, oh my God, this is such a debacle. I want to do this in defense of Bill Goldberg and The Undertaker. And
no, how about we just do in defense of of Bill Goldberg? I think Undertaker was actually fine here. I think
Undertaker. No. I agree. I think they both received a large amount of slack. I mean, I think Goldberg obviously did. The man knocked himself out 3 minutes into the match, which, yes, funny. And then Undertaker, also at his age, people are just like, crapping on him because of his age. But I'd like to say that both of them did pretty well, considering the fact that, like, first of all, they're both in their mid-50s.
They're in their mid-50s.
It's a 3-hour show, and they've been waiting in 100-degree weather to wrestle.
Yeah, it was hot already. Goldberg looked to be winded within the first minute or so of the match.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they had all of these planned spots. Like, I would have really popped if they did actually do the Goldberg under tombstone spot, which I guess they wanted to do, and that just looked just terrible.
Right.
But I mean, the first 2 or 3 minutes of this fucking match before the post spot was really good.
It was really good, man.
Like, I was up in my seat, like, okay, so how was this? And I was like, oh, that happens.
To be honest with you, if this match happened in America, I think there would be a lot more reaction towards it, because just Goldberg hits those first 2 spears, tries to go for a count, doesn't win the match, and Undertaker sits up. That's incredible. I love that spot. Thus far, it's living up to the dream match that it was, because it incorporates all the elements that we love from Goldberg. Goldberg is a guy who loves to spear. Undertaker is someone who fears no one and sits up every time he's been damaged. It's going well so far. Like, but when you at some point in this match, and it's very early into this match, Goldberg tries to go for he tries to go for a shoulder tackle or a spear in the corner, rams himself straight into the ring post. Like, oh my god. And it's crazy because Goldberg is like one of the most, like, notably, I don't know if would you call it clumsy?
I'd say it's clumsy with style. I think a lot of the things that he does is very clumsy, but it's really stylish. I think that in this match in particular, he wanted to go so hard.
Yeah.
Like it was 97 again. Like, you think about when he busted that window open in WCW that they did not cover for him, correctly for. But it's like, this is the type of guy that will harm himself for the good of the match.
Right.
And I know, like, people feel 2 ways about how he goes about, wrestling in his style. But I gotta say, like, again, in defense of it, he was trying to give people a show, like, regardless of what was going on.
I kept thinking back to the Goldberg, the 24 documentary that they did with him, and just how excited he was to wrestle, and excited he was to wrestle in front of his family, and excited to be that superhero for fans again, because really he came back for the fans. He didn't come back to sort of get another check or anything like that. He came back for his family. He came back for the fans. He realized that maybe for a long time he's been holding out and it wasn't the best for his career, and maybe that's not how he wants to end. It's kind of being like a bitter old guy. So what he wants to do is deliver the best matches possible. And we talk about a match, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania is one of the all-time great short matches. It's a great match. It's a great match.
It had everything. It had drama, it had athleticism, it had Goldberg giving everything that he had, but it just was not enough for Brock Lesnar, who had scouted him, essentially, and I love that these two, they didn't have any of that. This was like a fight. And I think that's what's so crazy about it, is that it was like a botch fest, but it almost looked like, for real, a fight.
Right.
Both of them were fighting each other. I mean, there isn't really much to the match after that spot. I mean, they
he gets busted open pretty badly.
Yeah, they fuck up the tombstone spot, which he still tries to go through with, and I don't know why Taker thought that was okay to even try and let him do.
Well,
at all.
The first initial tombstone, Goldberg gets dropped on his head.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily that I don't want to say he got dropped on his head, because I do believe that Undertaker executed it perfectly. I think Goldberg kind of was like a little bit loopy, and he may have let go before he was supposed to let go. And thus far, he fell straight on his head.
After he kicks out of the tombstone, Taker's face is so sullen and irritated that I was like, I'm just laughing every single time after that.
I laughed.
I'm weak.
It was so funny. I'm watching this on. I was watching on mute live as I'm recording the Lookout, and I could not stop laughing because Undertaker's face told the entire story. Undertaker's face told the story of an old man who was forced to wrestle, forced to fly out 18 hours to Saudi Arabia.
Listen. Fuck that. He wasn't forced.
He was booked for this show.
Thank you. He wasn't forced. He wanted to do that shit. He pulled out all of those fucking bookings because he needed a check. Because somehow this old motherfucker did not save all his money, bruh.
You sure? I heard Taker's been good with his money.
Has he? Why is he asking Bad Bunny to do those shows in Puerto Rico?
I don't know, man. Maybe he's a Bad Bunny fan. Maybe it's just he's a fan.
Okay.
Oh God, that Tombstone! I'm watching it again right now for the fourth time. But it's his face told us someone. There's a lot of variables that go into this. Hot, sweaty. Saudi Arabia, old, a lot of different things, and maybe the right thing was, and we had, we've had on this podcast in the last month as this match was announced, we've had Jeff J, who said that maybe these guys were, too old to be in this match. We had Stack Eye Greg also echoed that sentiment. Is this a case of like we told you so, or is it just a case of like? Just something went wrong in the match, and it shouldn't be really faulted for it.
I can't say I told you so to this. Like, I feel like, again, the variable is that Goldberg locked himself out in the match. I think that if they were allowed to do everything as it was, this would have been a lot better than we thought it was going to be, honestly. Like, I could see the makings of a good match because you see it in the first 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think this might have, as opposed to 3, because, I mean, the first chokeslam, Goldberg's just kind of just waiting on the rope, and Taker's looking at him like, "Come on," come on. and Goldberg's just on the rope because he's knocked himself out. I think I think this match went 8, but was supposed to go 4. To be honest, like it wasn't supposed to be that long. And I think if it had gone like the allotted 4 or 5 minutes, I think that it would have been the perfect length. I think that, like, honestly, I would have liked for Goldberg to go over here. I think the wrong guy won.
I don't. You know what? I wouldn't have mind either. I felt like if Goldberg won, they would have done another match. If Undertaker wins, oh my God, the Goldberg, the jackhammer where he brainbusters him. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was that about? Why was that still allowed?
Exactly. There was no way he was ever going to get that motherfucker up for a jackhammer at all.
Ever. It's just crazy. You know what? All right. So I posed the question to you. Would you want to see another match between these two? Under different circumstances.
Survivor Series, yeah. Yeah, I would. Survivor Series.
They're in a nice air-conditioned building.
Uh-huh.
Some nice
Chicago, right? Is it Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the best.
I would love to see it. I would love to see another match between these two. I'm not gonna lie. I really would. People are gonna complain. People are gonna whine and complain. I don't give a shit. I would like to see another match between these two.
I would love to see them do it over. Yeah.
I think that there was again. You agree with me. Like there was a skeleton of a good match here. They just weren't able to execute it because they need to stop having Goldberg do that post spot. But if they can get him to come back and they can do the match that they wanted to do here, I would absolutely love to see it. I think they could do it. I think they could pull it off. But from the look of Undertaker's face at the end of it, he just looks fucking done.
My man is like, I am so hot right now. Like, yo, bro.
What was he saying? Did you catch what he was saying at the end? Like he was talking to someone or saying something to the crowd.
Next, right?
Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit.
Showdown, right?
Yeah.
I wait 3 hours for this.
He was screaming racial epithets.
Oh my God. No. Yeah. Let's not put that on Undertaker.
He likes the fucking photos on Instagram. Well, I'm not putting anything on him that he doesn't put on himself.
Okay. All right.
Just saying.
That was Super Showdown. Another bit of news that came out from Super Showdown. So last week we reported right before they went out that Alexa Bliss and Natalya flew out to Super Showdown with them, potentially, with a match in mind. Now they did not have this match, but just actually, I think it was earlier today, Stephanie McMahon at a Celebrating Women in Sports luncheon said that the WWE will be part of, the something with women in the future in Saudi Arabia, and it will be in the near future. How do you feel about that? Weirdly enough, not weirdly enough, but it seems like WWE is trying their best to get women matches in Saudi Arabia when they go to these shows. I mean, they're going to have these shows for the next 9 years.
I think that, you know, the biggest thing is, like, you know, a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, they're, you know, they can do that, but you know, homosexual people still can't go over there. You know, they'll still have to, you know, they still have to go through the rules of what they go through out there, and it's baby steps. You know, I don't think either of us agree with what's going on there, and the you know, the partnership in itself is just very, like, slimy. You know, it is.
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, I think it's right up there with, you know, all types of companies and corporations that do shit like this every single day. But I think that, you know, it's baby steps as far as getting women there. I don't think this ends the conversation at all. It won't. But I do think that it makes them, at least, it's another PR point for them, essentially. And that's really all I see it as.
You know, I think they're really trying to get women to wrestle over there. It's weirdly enough, Renee Young got backlash on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that. It was weird. That was very weird.
That was weird because it was like, oh, Renee Young gets backlash for, you know, being, and then she from the the police or something.
Yeah.
And then she refuted those rumors, and then people still attacked her anyway. It was just like, no. So the rumor was Renee Young got yelled at by religious police during WWE Super Showdown. Renee Young refutes that, says, yeah, that definitely never happened. But while we were there, we were treated with respect. And pretty much people come in and just saying, it's just like, yo, why are you still supporting this? Like, why are you still going to this? It's just like, it's crazy. And I know that's not all the people that comment under it, but the fact that the fact of the matter is it's baby steps. And I think while it is a massive PR point for them to sort of get women over there and be in charge and be at the forefront of that type of thing as well, I do think they want to do this for the people who are at the show. I mean, I think one thing that we can look at, especially us being in America and looking out over there where they get one show, maybe 2 shows a year, probably, I don't remember now, but they hadn't been there ever before last year. And just seeing the fans and seeing them being able to enjoy the show, and they played a lot of clips of those fans enjoying the show and having their comments, and kids and things like that. It's like, it's real. Like, you know, at the end of the day, this is kind of what we do it for, right? Like, beyond the political sort of the political side of this, at the end of the day, they're they're accomplishing what they're setting out to do by putting these smiles on these kids' faces and these fans' faces, and they're getting to see their superstars close up and being able to touch them, being able to get autographs and all this other crap.
Wrestling is for everyone, right? That's what they say, right?
Right.
Wrestling, you can't say wrestling's for everyone except them.
Right.
You know, like, wrestling's for everyone. I mean, they got kids and innocents over there like everybody else. So it's like, but again, it's like people expecting WWE to change the government there is just really off base. But it's like, you know, they signed this deal. They got to live with this deal. They can't pull out of it. And we're going to get another one of these shows in November? So, yeah. I mean, just strap in. It's like, are we going to have this conversation every single time? You know, it's like, how many times are we going to have this conversation, bro?
Right.
We know. We're going to be coming up on the 4th show pretty soon. So what are you going to do?
Let's see. We got a congratulations in order. Chad Gable made an appearance on. Yeah, it's a congratulations. He's made it out of the slums and he's now back on television. He was on television twice this week. I mean, I think it's a congratulations, especially considering that he apparently had a great match against Jack Gallagher on 205 Live. Chad Gable on 205 Live. I don't know. They haven't officially done the thing where, what's his face? Drake Maverick has announced that we have signed Chad Gable to 205 Live, but is that something you'd be interested in for Chad Gable, or would you rather him just continue to figure himself out on the main roster?
I mean, we've been saying this for a while. You know, like, I think a lot of people have been saying this has been rumored. I think we've even said it on this show that that's a great place for him. And I haven't saw the match with him and Jack Gallagher from the show this week.
Right.
But it seems to me that it's been a slam dunk. You know, I think it's the same deal with Buddy Murphy. It's like you put people who've been forgotten there, and then they do their fucking best. And I can't speak to everything about the guys like Cedric and Buddy who've been called up now, but I mean, you look at Ali, who's a success story in himself, who how he's managed to really break through and not be considered a cruiserweight on the main shows anymore. I think that Chad Gable, that's a perfect place for him. If he decides to leave, who knows? But I think I see cruiserweight champion in his future immediately. I think he adds a new style to that show that people like previously only Gulak had on the show. It was like a grapple intensive type guy. And I want to see Gulak and Gable, bro. That's what I want to see right now.
I feel like, considering this, we're going to see as another side of Chad Gable that I think we've only seen flashes of. That he's a very competent in-ring wrestler. He has this unique sort of collegiate wrestling style. But we haven't really seen it on the main roster because usually when everything starts going, he either gets put in a tag team or he gets pulled off, just the matches and things like that. So I'm interested in seeing kind of where he can go with this. I'm wondering if they're going to continue to populate the 205 Live roster. It seems like they're doing a lot of, 205 Live, kind of showing up on a couple of shows. Maybe it's just for the 24/7 title. Who knows? But I'm interested if they continue to populate the 205 Live roster. It'll be interesting to see.
They need to, because remember we said they only had like 8 people.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. They've all been number one. Yeah, they've all been number one contenders at this point. Each month it's a number one contender match. I don't disagree with it, but it is what it is.
I mean, they had one on the same exact show that he debuted on too. So there you go.
I don't know if I want to touch on this Becky Lynch and Edge and Beth Phoenix crap. Becky Lynch continues. She continues to do, and it's all it's all kayfabe. And there was an interesting kind of tidbit that Ric Flair had to call Edge to see if it was a shoot or not. Which is hilarious, but
yeah, because it's very see-through if it is, and it's like,
but it's also kind of tacky if it
if it isn't. Yeah, it's like there's like a list of women in the back that I feel as though Becky
some receipts.
Hands.
Yeah,
like there's no reason why she has to go so hard on non-active competitors, on people that are on TV, instead of like I love that Edge kept bringing up the WrestleMania thing, because I think I said at that time she was the worst performer in that match to me. Right. She was terrible, and she would not bring it up. Like she kept overlooking it. I was like, oh yeah, I had to sting a little bit. Huh?
It's Becky Lynch on the tweets. Not fully a fan. I kind of choose to ignore it. It's a little bit too much. Like if it happened every so often, I get it. Considering it's been happening since her character started, which was pretty much almost 1 year ago, it's a little much. Maybe we tone it down. Maybe we pull it back. Maybe we mind our business. Maybe we, worry about their own relationship as opposed to someone else's relationship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's a little bit too much. That's all I'll say about that. Boom, boom, boom. Speaking of tweets.
More tweets?
Cardi B.
Oh yeah. That was dope. I gotta say, I think that it would be a major disadvantage or a major missed opportunity if WWE does not get her to do something for them, whether it be in Toronto for SummerSlam, Chicago for Survivor Series, or Royal Rumble or something like that. She has said on many different occasions that she's been a fan of wrestling, period. And I think that for them to go through it, they're fans of hers on the roster. Like Renee Young is a huge fan of Cardi B.
Yeah.
All of the women on there.
Renee Young, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Naomi, all of them.
Morrow's name dropped her more than once on NXT TV. Also, I think that it would be a missed opportunity to not have Cardi and put her in the family and make her give her a Snoop Dogg role. Honestly, a lot of the guys that she said that she really liked, and the men and the women are still around, Yeah. And I think that'd be really cool to put her next to them, like a Batista, or put her next to a Triple H or a Stephanie or something like that. That would be a really cool moment that I think would go over a lot of that side of wrestling fandom's head.
I agree. And you know what? She loves money. So if you throw the bag, she will show up at the WrestleMania or SummerSlam or anything like that. It looks, it's just
It's a good look. Why not?
It's a great look. It's a great look for someone to say like, "Yo, I mess with a lot of people on there." She name dropped Booker T, Batista, Eddie, Triple H, Edge, Lita, Undertaker, Kane. These are all, a lot of them are still active. A lot of them still around. A lot of them can still do things, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. Why not? Why not get her in on one of those things and have that cool synergy between her and the brand?
Yeah, even if it's just a backstage thing. Like, you got to take some pictures. You got to flash it on .com, on social media. That's where Cardi B does all her great work on social media. You got to do that. Boom, I won't say WWE's out there, but they are.
You also have the Offset connection as well. I mean, he could show up realistically as well. He's also a fan. He has so many wrestling references in every one of his songs.
He's practically part of Ric Flair's family at this point.
Exactly. Like even if it's him walking Charlotte out to the ring, I thought that was a no-brainer for Mania to have him do Ric Flair drip and walk her out. That would have been fucking fire. Let me not say that out loud. Maybe cut that or something like that. I don't want them to take my idea.
We'll see. Just know that we are putting this idea. I mean, yes, maybe I'll cut it. Who knows? Let's see. We got some outside of WWE news. AEW's Fyter Fest.
Lord.
Where Jon Moxley will go one-on-one with Joey Janela. Will be free for all Bleacher Report subscribers.
Actually, speaking of which, before we even touch on that, I watched Dominion.
Oh, it's on my fake rundown.
Oh, okay.
I just want to get AEW out the way because I know you'd rather talk about, the things like that. But yeah, just, Fyter Fest. How do you feel about it being free? I felt like their first event should have been free.
Yeah, I feel like Double or Nothing should have been free. This should have been pay.
Yeah, this one should have been the pay one. Especially, but you know what? They got a lot of matches on here. They got Fyter Fest. I'm not sure if it will get the same amount of attention. I mean, quite honestly, the AEW people in your mentions who go hard for it, they better keep the same energy once it comes June 29th, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They better.
Because I haven't heard a P-Zape. I haven't heard crap.
Not only that, the card looks really weak. You have a guy, Jabali, who is a video game tournament. He's a video game tournament organizer who is in a match against Michael Nakazawa, and I'm like, if this was any WWE match, it would have been fucking World War II.
Yeah,
they would have fucking hated that shit, but no one's saying anything about that. But whatever.
It is what it is. Speaking of that, I mean, we got the Jon Moxley versus Joey Janela. Let's transition to New Japan and Dominion and your thoughts on everything that's been happening over the last week or so.
Well, before that, I mean, I think after the A show from last week, he won the U.S. title from Juice Robinson. I don't know if we spoke on that.
I think we did. I think we did. If not,
he won the U.S. title.
If not, he did.
He won the U.S. title from Juice Robinson. Had a quick little squash match. Declared himself for the G1 on Dominion, which I think is a no-brainer. I think that's an amazing add to an already awesome G1 field from the talent that they already have now. And then Shingo Takagi also added his name to the list, as well as Kenta. He's back in Japan, and he's finally in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is. Listen, I don't know how he's going to survive all those dates. Like, honestly, it's going to be massive. I mean, the G1 is every single day for like 21 days.
I think he'll be fine, man. He seems refreshed. He hasn't really wrestled in quite a bit. I think he's probably getting back in shape at this point. Just general, do you feel like Kenta, New Japan, anything promising in his future? Could this be a career revival, or do you kind of feel like maybe he's like waning out? Or
he's so old. He'd have to show me. I have to see what he looks like in the G1. To be honest with you, like, I mean, we have the potential to see Moxley and Kenta. We have the potential to see Moxley and Shingo, and Moxley and Tanahashi, Moxley and Ibushi. Like, we have the potential to see a lot of really cool pairings in this G1 already. Like, I am really jazzed about it. I'm very excited about it. I think that more than anything, like, if Kenta was to show off and show that he could do it, this is the perfect time to do it with all these people that are emerging in New Japan right now.
Also, Chris Jericho has thrown his name into the hat of potentially being part of the G1.
Had a terrible match with Okada. I don't even know how it's possible for you to do that anymore.
He had a really bad match against Kazuchika Okada. Listen to this motorcycle go past really quick.
That's okay.
But a really, really bad match with Okada there, which I think that the Ospreay match should have main evented that show, realistically. I think that was the better match. Ospreay and Dragon Lee was a really good match. I also really, really fucking enjoyed, in a devilish way, Naito versus Ibushi, which is one of the most violent matches I've ever seen in my life. I think that those two need to really tone it down next time, because I really feel like we're going to see another one of these matches in the G1 this year.
When you say violent, what do you mean?
A lot of neck dropping. I don't know if you've seen the spot.
Ooh, I did. He falls off the apron.
Yes, that was one. That was just merely one of them. One of these types of spots during the match. I mean, it was just a brutal fucking match. And these two, they've been raising the level of violence every single time they've met this year. This was, to me, very hard to watch, even though I did enjoy the nuts and bolts of the match was really good. The technicality of the match was really good. But I just think the violence for me was just a little... It was reminding me of Okada and Shibata at times, with the recklessness that they had of their bodies. They really do need to tone it down. I think Ibushi signing to New Japan was a great idea, but I think that him trying to kill himself within months of doing that is a terrible idea. But, I mean, Dominion, all in all, it was the best New Japan show of the year for me so far.
No, that's always that's surprising and also promising for things that are happening this year. It seems like, a lot of people are still interested in wrestling for New Japan and competing in New Japan. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of move from here, especially as we go into the G1 this summer. Can we expect maybe G Show back? Maybe?
Yes, the G Show will be back this year. I will be watching the G1. Cyrus will be watching the G1. So I don't know how this will interfere with how we do spot callers. It might actually make it easier for us to do it now. But yeah, we'll both be watching it.
All right. Sounds good. So you can expect the G Show this summer. You can expect spot callers and maybe, a lot more things that we got coming down the pipeline.
We got a lot of shows coming. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Let's talk about the weekly shows from this week and the kind of stinkers that both of them were.
I liked one more than the other. I think one of these shows this week was probably one of the worst shows they've had in 2 years.
I think both of them were pretty non-spectacular in a lot of ways. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw, as we always do when we talk about this show. Weird start to me.
I'd say normal start for this show.
Seth,
I think the SmackDown opening was way weirder than this.
What do you mean? All right. Well, all right. Let's compare both of these openings.
30 minutes of Shane McMahon. I don't even think there's a comparison here.
Oh, you're right. But then Baron Corbin. Well, you know what?
I think that Baron has turned himself into a very capable heel that has capable of having really good multi-man matches and very good matches as long as it's with someone who's very good. As a character, he does nothing for me. He has done nothing for me. I appreciate the fact that he gets boos, but that's about where it stops.
So I think as a character, the thing is, it's like people are legitimately booing him. I think as in terms of how he's operating, I mean, he's one of the biggest heels on the roster, I think, because just naturally people just dislike him. And he doesn't have any redeeming qualities. No one likes him. There's nothing anyone likes about him. He just kind of stinks. But I think overall as a character, like if I take a look at this 10 years later down, I'm not going to remember Baron Corbin. I don't think, and it's not that I'm not going to remember him because it's like, oh my God, but I'm not going to his character does not stick out. His character does not pop off the screen.
He doesn't have a defining storyline. A Test, you could forget Test, but you can't forget the elbow drop on the Shane.
Well, I can't forget the marriage and, all these other things with Baron Corbin. He doesn't really seem to have that big moment. I mean, his moment is apparently retiring Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, but then again, that happened so deep in the show that no one even remembers, and it happened so far into Kurt Angle's career that it was long over before it actually started.
Yeah.
So that isn't really kind of a thing. We kind of need that moment to make Baron Corbin kind of work. You kind of need that moment, but you put him too far up, people don't want to see him, and then you throw him too far down, and it's like people still don't want to see him.
Yeah, I would have never expected after NXT that he would be where he's at right now. I'll tell you that much. if you want to talk about success stories, I'll put him up there with Elias. Like he's way further than I ever thought that he would have ever been.
Well, it continues to supplement our idea that listen, the WWE roster is completely different, and the way Vince McMahon uses guys is completely different from the way Triple H uses guys.
Yeah, and
to me, Elias and Baron Corbin have now been molded to that WWE system. Yeah. Whereas on NXT, your character does matter, but at the end of the day, you also have matches to supplement that. And then you also have these programs to supplement that. And really the lifeblood of it is the programs, because if you're not featured on NXT, people kind of forget about you.
Yeah.
So
I'd say I would even I'd even gander to say, like, and a lot of people have said this, and I've kind of like fought back on it, like, and I hate to make this like too super NXT centric, but it's like they're not really teaching these guys, or a lot of these guys, the bright lights, so to speak. They're not teaching them how to speak to the guys in the back of the room. They're speaking to a specific audience, and that's why I'm like calling some of these guys up, or some of these guys and women up, are like, it's really career suicide in a lot of ways, because they're not ready. They're not prepared. Like, I could say that maybe Velveteen could do something, because he's always been off the wall.
But now that's kind of depends. It's like, okay, how does WWE mold Velveteen? Because to me, his character lives, breathes, and thrives on the NXT stage because of the fans and how we appreciate him on NXT. But in terms of how it is in WWE, it may not happen that way. And actually, for him appearing and being too popular among his debut, it might be a detriment to him in the eyes of many.
Yeah, and you know what? That's crazy that you say that, because remember how we said a couple of months ago, Alistair's act was always big time. Alistair always felt bigger than NXT to me. He always felt bigger. And it's weird, because it's like the way they're doing him now is working for me, because I don't want to see Alistair every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, he shouldn't be wrestling every week. Like, that's why I like the way that they're doing it right now, where it's like, okay, it's going to be a big deal when he shows up, because all he's been doing is talking shit. And I like the character of Alistair right now more than NXT, because not only does the entrance and the look work, but now it's like, yo, I'm a badass.
Right.
And the way that they're booking him now is like, I've never seen them book anyone like this before, where it's just like, yo, he's a badass. He's never lost.
Yeah.
And now he's daring people to fight him.
He's been beating Randy Orton on house shows. So
I can't wait to see that match. I'm very excited to see that match.
Let's see, thoughts from Monday Night Raw. There was a six-man tag between The Miz, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Samoa Joe, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin. Sorry. Bobby Lashley and Cesaro. Sorry, just force a habit.
Very, very enjoyable six-man match. I thought that this is one of the times where it's like, and this has to probably go with either who produced it or the guys that are in it. They made Ricochet look really good. I think that they are starting to get him in a way that they didn't get him before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shows with what they do. It's like, he should be the guy getting the pinfall. He should be the guy that gets the hot tag, or should be the guy that's like working from under, because that's the type of character that he is. But he has to work with dynamic talent. I think Cesaro has really, really made him look like a big-time star on Raw. And I was very down on the way that they were booking him before, but I think he's fine for right now. I wouldn't give up on him yet.
Right. I heard a scary moment for Cesaro in the match. 630 right on his knee.
That was just. Should he have moved up or down? Like, I don't get how Ricochet normally never misses that.
Yeah, it's I'm looking at it back now, and I don't know. It just felt like it may have just been like sort of missed it a little bit. Use it like Ricochet was a little bit off on that. I don't know. It looks like Cesaro was in perfect position. He just kind of landed on the knees. It happens.
He can't see shit until he falls down.
Yeah, so it is what it is. He's landing on the knee. He landed on the knee. So I don't think I've heard it's not that it may not be completely serious with Cesaro. So we should see him, but he was hobbling out. He was assisted back on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see how that kind of goes. Let's see. We had Becky Lynch and Bayley versus Lacey and Alexa. Yeah. How did you feel about the interview? The Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans interview?
I liked it. I thought it felt organic to me. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Lacey's best. You know what? Like I know you feel a way about Lacey, and I know a lot of people do. I think that they're trying a lot with her in a lot of ways that they did not try with a lot of other women on this roster. I think they really wanted to work for her. I don't mind her character as much as I used to. I think that she, like, other than that Charlotte match, she really does try.
Right.
She really does try. I think she is trying. I think she is improving every single match I see her in. I thought that this interview was very. I think, honestly, one thing she's not weak at. She's really good on the mic. She's very good on the mic.
I think she's good at. This is weird. I think she's good at reading what they tell her to read, but that's
a character though that her character leaves no room for her to improvise whatsoever.
But it would be, I mean, to me, it's those characters that take it to the next level, like the Becky Lynch's or the Stone Cold Steve Austin's. I'm not saying that's perfect archetype or anything like that, but at the same point, it's like you've got to know and breathe your character, and you've also got to breathe a little bit more life into it. To me, what she is to me is her character is best. Her character, and we talk about the differences between, once again, WWE and NXT. Her character is fully bred for WWE.
Absolutely.
And we've seen this. I feel like we've seen this type before, and this probably won't be the last time we've seen it. And I'm sure they're like, this is how we expect. I'm sure there are like a ton of men writing and saying this is how a woman should sound, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think there needs to be a little bit more like actual life into it. To me, she kind of just seems like a vessel for like this character, and she needs to really embody the character. And what's funny as well, like the one tweet, we're talking about like tweaking her character. When the tweet to Nikki Cross has made her way better of a character to me. I think she's way less one note and more layered as a character now. Right. I agree 100%. And Nikki Cross has had these interactions with Alexa Bliss, and she's, next to Alexa Bliss. This is obviously building up to something. I think it's a great move for her, and I think it's great to continue to add to her character. And first of all, she's in NXT. She couldn't speak because her character wouldn't allow her to speak. But this one, just the little tweak of it's like, okay, she has a human element, but she kind of is also insane. Is like, it's a nice touch.
It's like it's kind of like Goldust.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Kind of like Goldust. I really enjoyed Alexa. I enjoyed them explaining the Alexa Nikki Bailey thing, and I enjoy Nikki being put in it. I think that this storyline clogs up way too much of two shows, though. It's in both shows, and I think that it drags it down a lot.
It's not the only thing that's taking up way too much time on both shows, because Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre's Super Showdown celebration. Oh my God, I'm sick of Shane McMahon on both shows.
I think the Shane McMahon experiment to me is officially over. It's
working. He's the top heel on the damn show. Like, he's the top heel in the company right now.
It's insane. I didn't foresee this after the Miz program, but I should have. I think we all should have, because we were not thinking that it was going to, grow that big, and it has, and it's almost like they've got people talking about he's going to be the one to beat Kofi.
Right.
Like, that's how bad it's been. And please God, no. Because the thing is, it's setting up so perfectly because Roman hasn't gotten his win back. And he's got to get his win back. And how else is he going to get his win back? Against Shane.
All right.
Like, do you think that, like, Shane, or you think that Roman going into the SmackDown era as the champion is the right decision?
No, actually I don't. I think Roman Reigns continuing to be a player, like a top player heading into the new era of SmackDown is a great idea. As champion, no. To me, honestly, if it were up to me, I would keep Kofi champion all the way through until the show starts. Like, that's just me, though. It's just me.
I would put it on Andrade to start.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Latino audience.
I agree, but you have the Latino audience anyway. They're going to be there. Like, they're going to be there. Andrade is there. They're going to be there either way. I think we get to that eventually, but I think the thing is with Kofi Kingston is just doing so well at this point, and he's someone that people naturally get behind. There's no wavering behind. There's no fans that have wavered against Kofi Kingston right now. And I think them heading into the new SmackDown era, I think he's a great, addition to the show. And you have another major superstar that you can prop up. I think that's what I would do. Now, in terms of champions, we got a new champion on Monday Night Raw, and it is the Revival winning the Raw Tag Team Championships from Ryder and Hawkins, who we haven't seen in weeks.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like didn't I talk about this a couple weeks ago that I think they're going to bring them back after Super Showdown. They're gonna finally lose the titles. I think you go ahead and do Usos Revival, and that's when you bring in the Vikings again. I think that's really what's going to happen here. I think the Vikings work better as faces, and that's why I think that having them against the Revival is way better.
I think I agree. Two, I think they've been circling around this Usos the Revival thing for a while.
Yeah.
And I think they really need to, now that the Revival have the tag team championships, I think they really need to like kind of like let it loose and we fully get into it and we fully experience it and all these other different things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything that else happened on Monday Night Raw?
Bray's Funhouse.
Bray's Funhouse. I didn't actually pay attention to that. What happened?
He killed the rabbit.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
He killed the rabbit this week. I'm still wondering when they're going to debut this guy. I don't know what his program would be. At this point, I don't know on what show or what program he would have.
Just keep him off the show is what I say.
That's what I'm saying. Your prediction may be true. Like, they might not ever debut this guy.
I mean, they should. I mean, as a wrestler, you have to wrestle at some point. But I'm just saying, majority, if there's someone who's in charge of producing these segments every week and Bray Wyatt only has to show up once a month to record like 4 or 5 of them, I'm for it. It is what it is. They're on both shows anyway, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm for it. Once again, the most exciting part, well, one of the most exciting part of both shows continues to be the 24/7 championship and how they continue to put themselves in these crazy situations.
Over the weekend, they did the airplane thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, R-Truth
he lost on
He
lost it on the tarmac. R-Truth loses the 24/7 championship on the tarmac, the most fly shit I've ever seen in my life. Then Jinder Mahal once again loses it on an airplane. And just these situations. Now it's R-Truth on Monday Night Raw. He's trying to escape, blah, blah, blah. Gets trapped in an elevator, becomes an incredible, hilarious segment. Let me tell you.
Which did a lot more for EC3 than I've even thought possible. I think EC3 is making... I know a lot of people are complaining about, for some strange reason, how EC3 should be way higher in the card than he is. Mm-hmm. I think these segments are doing way more for him than him just beating everyone every week, I think.
I agree. I'll say this in terms of sort of the social capture and the YouTube capture. 2.7 million views for R-Truth gets trapped in an elevator. 2.7 million. That blows away almost everything else on Monday Night Raw. Like completely. I'm trying to see what else, if I can capture anything from the airplane ride, but just this is doing so well, just socially, just globally, just all these other things. Once again, 2.9 million views for him losing on the tarmac, 8.4 million views of R-Truth beating Jinder Mahal on an airplane, 8.4 million in 6 days.
That's crazy. That's like Drake numbers.
Yeah, it's wild. It's not Roddy Ricch numbers, but you know.
Yeah, I mean Roddy Ricch out the gate.
Let's go into SmackDown and wrap this thing up.
Let me just start by saying I thought this was one of the worst SmackDowns in a very long time. Since 2017.
It's a bad streak of SmackDowns. Like
I said it last week. The wild card rule is ruining SmackDown way more than it's ruining any of these other shows.
I agree.
They need to end this shit, or at least have a moratorium on this show, or on this wild card thing. I am so sick and tired of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens main events. I'm sick and tired of that shit.
It is crazy. First of all, the show started off with Miz TV, with Shane McMahon, with Drew McIntyre, with Elias. So the guys that we've seen all week already. The Miz is on Monday. And he's also on Tuesday. And
but
also
he's on Monday. He's on Monday, but without Cesaro or without Ricochet and Braun Strowman.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense.
So they come down. The Miz is, he gets in a segment with Shane McMahon. They have this kind of beef. Props to the Miz for carrying this entire thing. Just because I feel like there's not a lot of times where they hint at past feuds and actually like continue to do things. We get a gauntlet match for the beginning of SmackDown. A gauntlet match which the Miz does not win. So it's no point. This is all to put over Drew McIntyre. So what was the point of having the Elias match? I have maybe 50-50 for the Miz. I don't know. Whatever.
Doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all.
It doesn't make any sense because I think the entire premise of this was to put over Drew McIntyre because of his match at Stomping Grounds versus Roman Reigns.
This is so 98 or it's 97. Like this whole storyline is so 97, 98. It's so clear where it's leading to, and I just want to know how you're gonna feel when it happens and it's they go after the New Day.
I feel like it's going to happen eventually. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I really don't know.
All the talent that they have on this fucking show.
Do you feel like it'll be Shane McMahon versus Kofi Kingston, or will it be Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston?
I feel like it's either. I think he's gonna beat Drew, and I think he's gonna lose to Shane.
Interesting.
All the talent they have on this fucking show, all of the matchups that they could have: Kofi against Alistair, Kofi against Buddy, Kofi against Nakamura. Literally, I've been wanting them to go back to Kofi Nakamura for months now.
Yeah.
Literally, all the talent they have on this fucking show, they're leading to. You can tell this shit, Meelz. You can tell they're leading to this shit. And I'm getting very emotional, upset about this. I wasn't the biggest fan about this Kofi shit, but that shouldn't be the guy.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the guy. It shouldn't. I would have liked Kevin Owens to do it. I would have liked Daniel Bryan to come back and do it later on and get his win back.
Right.
They haven't even gone back to. I mean, they went back to it, but I mean, I feel as though that feud had a couple more months left to it. Terrible.
It's just
I'm
terrible.
sorry. I know we're talking about the gauntlet match.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. We don't have to talk about the gauntlet match. It was not fun. The Miz lost. I'm not happy, et cetera, et cetera. I really do think the way the Miz is as a face. I said this a couple months ago when he turned. He's not as effective as he was as a heel. He's actually used more as a prop than a face than anything.
Yep.
Which is terrible considering how great of a character he is. You talk about guys who haven't had even a chance at the WWE Championship. My man hasn't had the rematch since 2011, bro. Yeah. It's crazy. And considering how prominent of a character and how utilized he is on these shows, he's someone who hasn't even flirted with the main event scene. But that is for another day. We had another great 24/7 title segment. R-Truth gets locked in
the trunk.
In the trunk, and he's heading to Monday Night Raw in LA, trapped in the trunk all weekend. This is a great way to not take the title off of him or not explain anything over the next 6 days. How the fuck is he locked in a trunk for 6 days?
I'm sure he'll lose it. Like they usually do it Friday, Saturday. They usually have him do it. He'll probably lose it on Saturday and win it back on Sunday or something like that, and then Monday we'll have a big thing. One thing I really want to see is if they're gonna give this to someone serious and then have them actually start beating people. If I think honestly, fuck the bullshit. They should give it to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Ooh, huh?
And just have Kevin Owens hold the belt, and then have Sammy protecting him every time somebody comes. I think that you put it on someone serious and actually have a long-term storyline with this that is actually a serious storyline.
Yeah, I think so. It would be a great idea.
Imagine Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn having social media segments during the weekend. That'd be great.
I think it'd be hilarious, especially considering how those guys are being used. And with the 24/7 title, it's really the juggernaut of both shows because it is just killing everyone in the views and the attention and the social media engagement and everything like that.
Look who Kofi's fucking feuding against.
Dolph.
It's
Ziggler.
I thought this was
gross.
A one-off match.
Gross. No, I mean I don't think they had time to build up another contender. All of these stomping ground matches are rematches. It's actually pretty sad.
They put all of these belts on all of these faces, and after WrestleMania, they had no fucking heels for any of them to go against. I know. Again, I'm getting frustrated, but it's you have some of your best faces in a very long time, and Seth, Becky, and Kofi, and you're doing nothing with them. They have no dance partners whatsoever.
It's insane. It's crazy. Also featured on this show, we had Heavy Machinery wins a new set of cardboard championships.
The YOLOs.
The Yolo County Tag Team Championships. You know what? They deserve it.
I do like the slow build of them eventually going against Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. I think that they're doing, again, these are NXT characters that had just one tweak, and they work on the main roster. I know you're not a fan, but I do see that they do get a reaction. I mean, they at least get a reaction at the very least. They're on the show a lot more than the Vikings did. I think the last time we saw the Vikings, they were actually starting to get over it, and then they disappear for weeks.
Yeah. I've heard they've been slumming it on main event.
Yeah.
So, who knows, man? Who knows? What else did we see? Are you interested in what this Ember Moon, Sonya, Mandy could be?
It's another slow burn. I mean, I guess we're saying that it could be Carmella and Ember teaming.
Yeah.
Which isn't the worst thing you could do with Ember here to reintroduce her to everyone. I would have really liked to see Ember like try and be like a heel or something like that. That would be really interesting for her character.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the silent rage type character that they're playing for her, and they're attempting to give her one.
Yeah,
and that's more than I can say they did for NXT. So I'm all for whatever they do with her because she needs it.
Well, she was like this like Empress of the Moon type of deal, and now she's like this nerd backstage reading Game Informer and like. Like
GameStop card,
just all this, with the pants, like that.
It's always the jeans. You always got to go to the jeans.
You always got to go to the jeans. So you know what? I'm fine with it. If I think it's another character that we don't get a lot as in terms of women characters. Just someone who kind of keeps themselves, maybe a little bit of an introvert, maybe someone who's pushed to the level and now has to respond. I think that's a great sort of storyline. It's very basic, but it's also very good. And Sonya and Mandy are really killing it in this role, I have to say.
I like it. They're a little bit iconic light, if you will. They're a little iconic light.
I'm a new fan of the Iconics, so I'm not a fan. Listen, they take me to Chuckletown, my friend. They are funny.
Hey, Kayla!
Are you? Oh my God, they are funny. They are filling the void of whatever New Day was like in 2018. Of just
but I mean, as far as Mandy, Sonya, I mean, you could do worse with what they're doing here. I think reintroducing Ember. There were a lot of women on the show on the SmackDown. That's the only redeeming quality that I had. But you also had like matches that like don't even really matter. It's like why beat Nikki here? Like I enjoy Bayley being a face that wins a lot. I think Bayley is one of the strongest booked faces also on
right.
On any roster. Like all she does is win. But I think that again, like why beat Nikki here? Why not beat Mandy here? Why not beat someone else?
I think, you know what? I think the Nikki thing is leading to something that her is obviously like a subordinate for Alexa Bliss, and maybe her relationship is much more detrimental to her. And I think that's what they're trying to show, is that her relationship is being detrimental to her because it's kind of, it's kind of what the Alexa Bliss thing that kind of eventually like cost her the match. Maybe she pokes Bayley a little bit too hard and Bayley kind of goes off. So that's what I think is kind of going on. But it's, I mean, we were asking for where the hell is Nikki Cross for months, and now she's finally here. So I'm not completely mad at it. But once again, I mean, there's so many people that aren't on the show. They at least attempted. Okay, they brought Alistair back, which I think they're going to go all full speed ahead with the Randy thing, which I can't wait to see. They brought Andrade back, which looks like he's gonna have a banger of a match with Apollo Crews. That's no doubt about it. Yeah.
I like that, but the Chad Gable thing was weird considering he was going to show up on 205 Live, which was just odd. And then the main event was like a complete house show main event. I was like, I checked out 5 minutes in, dog. I couldn't do it.
No, it was 100% a house show. Even the body language was house showy. Like they were having a little bit of fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. To me, it was a great 6-man tag. And New Day are great in the ring. It's great to see Big E back. It's great, just to kind of see everyone competing. But once again, it's a very SmackDown-y main event, and it's not the kind of main event that we got in maybe like the late 2016 era where we were getting the John Cena versus AJ Styles and John Cena versus Nakamura, or Randy Orton versus Nakamura.
It's clear that these shows miss Road Dogg. I'm gonna keep it 100. These shows miss Road Dogg. You
couldn't take it. He says, wild card, what are we doing anymore?
Love it or hate it. Love him or hate him. I know a lot of decisions that he made people really didn't like. I've seen it firsthand, man. Road Dogg he was the glue for that show, dog. Like he really made a lot of the shit that was happening on that show during his formative years happen. And SmackDown really misses him in this role.
I agree.
terribly. But I didn't watch the main event for SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was a big fat fail for me this week. I did not like the show.
Yeah, I didn't see much people tweeting about it, which is usually a telltale sign that it's really, really bad. Monday Night Raw also got record low viewership. It was going against the NBA Finals.
We expected that. It was potentially the last game for the Warriors, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, and then it ended up being like a really great game. So
yeah,
I actually watched that overall.
Yeah, and then like the KD thing happened, and it was like that took up most of the timeline. I didn't even bother tweeting about Raw.
Yeah. At this point, that is this week in professional wrestling. It's not a lot, but we are in the summer slump.
I mean, next Sunday we have a pay-per-view. So next week we'll be predicting Stomping Grounds on the episode. So I mean, definitely tune in for that. It's going to be a very interesting prediction show.
Yeah, to say the least. Stomping Grounds, the one about boots.
Bring back Lugs for this.
Yeah, Lugs. I mean, who's the sponsor for this? Can't be Lugs.
It's not Lugs. It's definitely not Lugs.
Definitely not Birdman Lugs. Boot of the week. Yeah, man. Is there any final thoughts on how things are going in professional wrestling right now?
I think WWE is in a I don't envy their position. I completely understand the position. They're going through a lot of transition, a lot of change, a lot of people leaving. There's a lot of challenge on the horizon for them. I don't know what it is about. I don't know why they're taking their foot off the gas right now. I have no clue why they're taking their foot off the gas. Like I have no godly explanation for it because NXT is as good as it's ever been right now. It is.
I think just it's so weird, and I don't know if they're in a shift with creative where they're not fully understanding what's going on, but it is the worst it's ever been. And I feel like every year we continue to say like they've hit this wall and it's not good, and these shows are not good. But this
is the
year,
wall.
This is the wall, and this is like, to me, just is not as creatively gripping as it could be. It's not as really the only creative thing is a 24/7 title, and really you just got to copy and paste all those hardcore title storylines that Bruce Pritchard probably brought back from his binder. But to me, it's just there's so much missing. There's so much development missing. There's so many superstars missing that people want to cheer for. There's not enough diversity on who's the actual shows itself. And I'm not talking about diversity as race, but in terms of diversity as characters, we don't really get, we get the same people on both shows. So why would I want to watch both shows if I'm going to see both people on, if I'm going to see the same people on both shows?
We listen, we like the brand split. I like the brand split.
Same.
I like the fucking brand split. Keep the fucking brand split. What are y'all doing? Granted, I don't see this lasting past fall because they got to push Survivor Series somehow. But it's like, keep the fucking brand split. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I don't get it. Like, we watch these shows every single week, and it's like, I know like a lot of people are as low as they've been on the product as possible. And, on this show ourselves, we try and be a little more positive about it. But it's like, come on. Like, I'm watching Raw, and I'm like, who am I rooting for here?
Right.
Who do I root for here? Seth Rollins doesn't even have a good heel to go against for me to cheer for him for.
It's Baron Corbin. Oh my God, gross. Dolph Ziggler. This is the 2019 brand. First of all, this Baron Corbin. It's Dolph Ziggler contending for the WWE Championship in 2019, and we're almost at the end of a decade, bro. Like, come on.
And not Andrade, and not Finn Balor, and not any of these people that actually fucking matter on these shows. It's like I say this, and I keep repeating. It's like, why does the wild card matter for SmackDown? It shouldn't matter for SmackDown. It should be building up SmackDown people that don't get on the show that much.
Right.
Buddy Murphy hasn't been seen. Why doesn't he show up on Raw?
Nowhere. Bruh. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, man. It really, really is. We'll be back next week to talk about all this good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Please stay subscribed to RNC Radio Live on Twitter. You can stay subscribed to the A Show feed. Make sure you search on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play. Make sure you search the A Show RNC if you want to stay subscribed to whatever we got talking about. We had a great show last week on the Decade Show regarding just everything that's happened over the last decade. It's still a good listen. If you need some extra content, I advise everyone who hasn't listened to it yet, please subscribe. Add it.
Well, I'll bring it back up. I'll bring it back up on the feed. Everybody needs to listen to it.
We'll bring it back up. And listen to everything else this week. We got our RSPN as we're in the midst of the NBA Finals. We have the Lookout that dropped this week, late feeds that dropped earlier. What else?
No, actually, Late Fees drops this week. Actually, never mind. Late Fees drops this week. It's the John Singleton episode with Josh Pease drops this Friday.
Boom,
and
boom.
We have the RNC radio episode with myself and Josh Pease that dropped a couple days ago. Also talking about RNC Decade as well as Cameron and the Diplomats. This is probably one of my favorite episodes we've done. Probably one of the funniest episodes we've done. Also, so check that out as well.
You have so many different things. All you got to do is stay subscribed and stay tuned. Follow RNC Radio on Instagram as well. Yeah, we're just doing all our shout outs, man. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for sharing. If you have any thoughts about anything going on in the show, feel free to hit us up in the comments. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter. Feel free to hit us up anywhere. Yeah, I think we should just mosey on out of here.
So for this week, for Meelz, I'm Justin. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
My champion is still black. Peace.
For now.
No, it's still black.
All right.
Peace.